Hi, welcome back to Our Hollywood. I'm Kim.
I'm Daniel. Today we have with us Kyla. Kyla, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, actually, I'm feeling okay this week.
Yeah, a little hot. I don't know why. It might be the lights.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a light. Because it's usually on my side. And it's a little
And are you guys
yeah.
in San Diego right now?
Yes, we are.
And yeah, so is it hot there?
Not right now. It's actually really cold.
It's so cold here too. Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay.
Where are you? Are you still in LA?
Yeah, in literally West Hills.
Okay, fine. Oh wait, I was about to do small talk that was not podcast related.
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about that after. So Kyla is the last of the short film from one of my classes because it was a group of four. Well, it was a group of like six, but we're gonna call it a group of four because those other two didn't do anything. Yeah, no. So we had Devin and Ella in season 1. So now we have Kyla, and so now it's everyone.
Yay!
So what a fun time! And they were all horror themed.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah.
No, yeah, and also like the short film we made for the
and the short film, exactly.
So like I should have seen this coming.
How fun!
Yeah. So Kyla, do you want to tell us a little bit about like what your major is right now, what you're studying, and then why you decided to get into this industry? What made you like want to do this?
So obviously CTVA, so cinema and television arts, but emphasis on screenwriting. So obviously I love dark comedies. That's what I've been always writing. And right now doing like me and my like writing partner, we're doing like a little TV show thing. So but that is like dark comedy. So I've been doing that. And then why I wanted to like do, I guess.
Yeah, like what made you want to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be a screenwriter?
Yeah, I think it's it runs in the family. like my like my dad would like take me to set and like have me do like little things. So and then after a while, like I was like, you know what? I like to be behind the camera, not really in front of the camera. And plus, I wanted to be like a novelist for like ever. Mm-hmm. And then I like realized that I really like the format of like screenwriting and then like seeing it as like a movie because I love films. So yeah, that's why.
Okay. The way that everyone that's been on here that wants to be a screenwriter has been like, well, I was gonna be like an author because no one knew that screenwriting was like a thing.
Yeah, it's not like one of the things. They're like teacher or author.
Yeah, no, literally.
Oh my gosh, it's actually so funny because that was another thing that I wanted to be, was a teacher.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure I'll be a teacher at some point. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And then if you want to tell anyone a little bit about like what your dad does, because that's also really interesting.
Yeah, so he's a stunt coordinator, and he used to be. I know, dude. He's awesome, and he used to just do like he used to do stunts, and then like he was like he's been like a stunt double for like Mickey Rourke, and like he's been like a stunt double for like a bunch of people, and then once he did like stunt coordinating, like he's doing Avatar like right now, like the second and third one, and then
Can he did the first. That? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a known thing. Like New Zealand, like everyone in New Zealand had to know about it because of like COVID.
Oh,
so it's a known thing. Don't worry.
Are we gonna get sued?
I know. I just didn't say what it's about, but I can say like that he's doing it. But yeah, so he's doing that, and so that's kind of like what he's doing right now. But he's back now. So yeah, so stunt coordinating and like second unit directing, that's what he does.
So it really does run in the family, which is fun.
Yeah,
and also I met her dad when we were doing our short film. He came out to help a little bit. What a fun time. What a fun time. Because like that short film was like a mess. But
that was
like,
such a mess. That was actually so funny. And I love how like we didn't use like the whole first day. We didn't even use like any of that footage.
No, yeah. We had to shoot the entire thing twice.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so today's what is the word?
Hello?
Topic? Yeah. Today's topic. Well, I want to explain why it's called this. So it's called "Good for Her: Exploring Female Horror" because there was like a tweet that went viral.
Good for her.
Did you see that tweet? Where
I know, just the way you said it right now, I was like, you didn't emphasize the good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
It's like it was like 4 screenshots from like female characters. So it was like Danny from Midsummer, Martha from Knives Out, and like two other ones that I don't remember. But that tweet was like everywhere. I mean, different people were doing it and changing the characters. I was like, okay, this is worth talking about because female horror is like a huge like subgenre of horror. I think there's definitely more female characters in horror than male characters.
100%. I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Like it's maybe not to the advantage of women sometimes because it's like the mostly male directors.
Yeah.
So a lot of times these women are not wearing clothes. But I think in recent times this has changed.
Yeah, so, the recent female horror subgenre has been Chef's Kiss, but the movies that we're going to talk about leading up to them are not the opposite of the Chef's Kiss.
Yeah, so the way we split it up was I noticed that there were 4 common themes. Obviously, not every female horror movie can fall into some of these, but there's so much ground to cover that I thought this would be the best way to do it quickly. So the 4 common themes that I saw in female horror movies were motherhood, puberty, which I guess you could also do coming of age, but like I don't know, puberty, revenge, and power. I saw this quote from an article that I thought was really, really interesting. It was a recent study by Google and the Gina Davis Institute used technology to recognize patterns in gender, screen time, and speaking time in major films. While the results revealed that men are seen and heard twice as much as women, the opposite was true of horror. Women held 53% of the on-screen time and 47% of the speaking time. For comparison, women only held 45% of the on-screen time in romance films, which is super interesting to me.
Wow, yeah, that is interesting.
Because
very interesting.
Like that's like if you think about it, like it makes sense, but also like I don't know. That's just so.
Especially when it comes to romance too, because it makes you feel like it's equal, but it's actually not.
But I think it's also because like I feel like I almost said rom-coms. Romance films are marketed towards women, so they're like, look at these men,
That's I didn't even think about it like that.
So that might be why, but still, I think it's still interesting and worth noting.
Yeah, because they want the women to swoon over the men, so they have to give them a little extra screen time to like
a shower scene.
Yeah. But he's not talking in the shower scene.
Oh no, on screen time.
Okay, it's just on screen time.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off with.
They really do all have shower scenes.
Yeah, they have shower scenes. They're like, this man did not work out for like 5 months to not have a shower scene, so they give him a shower scene. So the first one we have, no, literally. So the first one we have is Motherhood. So the movies we have in this subsection are Rosemary's Baby, Mama, The Babadook, and Mother. There's definitely a lot more, but I thought these were the ones that we could talk about. And they're kind of in like order that they came out, right? Yeah, they are. So the first one is Rosemary's Baby, came out in 1968, directed by Roman Polanski, based on a novel, I believe. I should have wrote that down. Anyway.
I feel like, yeah. I
think it's based on a novel. And basically it's about this woman and her husband. She's like pregnant and she starts noticing that like the whole building complex is like against her. She's like noticing things and she's like, something's wrong here. Personally, I really like this movie, but I liked it when I first watched it.
Me too.
Like I was like, I love this so much. And then I saw it again and I was like, oh no.
And then you learned more about Roman Polanski, and that was in the back of your head when you're watching it.
Yeah. So for disclaimer, Roman Polanski, we don't like you. Like gross.
No. Pedophile.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yes, you can say pedophile. He's a pedophile. Like he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
We don't stand Roman. This is a Roman Polanski hate club. But we're still gonna talk about the movie because it's like a huge movie, but also like nobody talks about it.
Because of him, I feel like.
Oh, that's true. Never mind. Okay, well that explains it. So the main like things that I saw going on in this movie were that basically the overall theme is like the fear of like impending motherhood. Like, you know, every mom has that fear of like, am I going to be a good mom? I
have that fear before becoming a mom.
You already have that fear?
Yeah. That's like my main thing. I'm like, do I actually want kids? Because like being a mother, like it scares the shit out of me.
That's literally one of my biggest fears. Also, I'm like, oh my gosh, are they gonna be born with like freaking 3 legs? Like, are they gonna be born freaking like this? Like,
am I capable of not being selfish? Is what I think about.
Interesting. Okay.
Because like I think like because I feel like our parents are pretty young. Well, my parents are really young when they had me. My parents were already my age. I'm 22, and they already had me. And I just think I'm like.
They were having me at this time.
Yeah, and I'm like, how the fuck? Because I think about myself, I'm like, I cannot have a baby
right now. Yeah, no, me neither.
No. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with the red heart.
So yeah, fear of impending motherhood. It's like a theme through all these movies, honestly. Okay.
That's so interesting that you didn't know that. I feel like all girls that like want to have kids eventually like have that fear. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why it's important that there's
because I think like when you have a baby, more people focus more on the women rather than like the fact that two people are supposed to be raising the child, but it's more so on the women, especially because you're literally growing the thing for 9 months, so it automatically has to rely on you for like its first year because it literally needs your milk. Well, it doesn't need to. You can like do formula and stuff, but like there's just a lot more pressure on the woman, I feel like, when it comes to babies.
Okay.
Fun. Now you know.
Interesting. Well, see, that's why this was obviously like had to be a female-led conversation because I would have never known that.
It's such a frightening thing, like even just like childbirth, like that, like and have like that whole thing. Yeah, I know. That's like I literally like plan. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have like the epidural. I need like all this like stuff. Like
women that are powerful enough to not have epidural, I literally salute you. You are literally braver than the Marine soldiers. Yes, literally. I could never. Like I can imagine having a water birth. Like they're amazing. Women are amazing.
No, yeah.
Okay. Seriously.
That was our tirade about birth.
Okay.
So.
Well, no, it's not really a tirade because like we need to talk about it for this movie because she's essentially growing the devil inside of her this whole time.
Inside of her.
Yeah, because what happens is like the husband. We're spoiling a movie that's like 50 years old, so if you don't know what's going on in this movie, that's your fault. So like, essentially the husband sells the baby that is not born yet to Satanists. But doesn't tell his wife. So it's like.
But I feel like he sells the wife's body, like. And then like the baby is gonna be like the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like it brings up a lot of question of like women's like reproductive rights and that whole thing. I think this movie should be remade by a woman from like a woman's perspective because I think it would be so interesting to see how because there's a lot of themes like the gaslighting that she goes through, the whole like. Her body like rights are literally taken away by her husband.
Yeah.
The way that other people are conspiring against her, it's like a whole group of people. Like she feels like she has that movie is so stressful to watch because you're like.
I think because I haven't finished the movie ever. I think it's because I watched it when I was like younger and I literally got so uncomfortable I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I'm like, I definitely started it because I recognize the characters. I recognize some scenes from it. It's like one of those ones they put on TV, which is weird. Like, why the fuck would you put that on TV? But like, yeah, I never finished it because I was like, this is scary.
It is scary.
And yeah, I feel like a lot of these older movies that we're going to talk about, I feel like all of them need recent rewrites from like female perspectives.
Yes.
It would make such a world of difference.
Which Carrie did. So we'll talk about Carrie when we get there. But Carrie was originally, the original film was directed by a man and the remake is directed by a woman. And there are big differences. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, that's Rosemary's Baby. Honestly, my final thing on it is like, I think it should be remade by a woman.
100%. It's literally just about like men making decisions for women's bodies and they have no say. So
which I feel
you don't, men. Like 2 men that listen to our podcast, and you don't. So shut your fucking mouth.
Exactly. Also, I feel like it would be the perfect time to remake this movie because of like
right now, especially. Oh my gosh!
Like whoever's listening
in a post-Trump world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone go make it. And maybe like HBO Max, like
ooh,
like
stars.
Okay, let's get this started.
Yeah. Okay. Mama was released in 2013, directed by. I didn't know Andy Muschietti made this movie. He's the director of the new It movies and the new Child's Play. Like he does a lot of horror. I didn't know. I thought Guillermo del Toro made this movie.
He was produced by.
Yeah, he was what are they called? Like someone that they get like a reference guy, like someone who just kind of like helps like out like for style reference, like all that kind of stuff. He was literally just like kind of like their helper. I guess.
Yeah.
I
He
like-
did that for the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love
it.
him.
Was like he
You can
didn't direct it, but he was
there.
like, yeah.
You can definitely tell in the
Involved.
creature design of the creature design of Mama that Guillermo del Toro was involved, because his like monsters always have like weird arms and legs.
Yes. Oh my god.
The noises. Anyway, so this was one of the first horror movies I ever watched. I saw it in theaters. No, yeah, because my mom didn't want to let me watch them as
Like not too long ago too.
no, yeah. Well, it's because I think we used to not go to the theater that much. And so the first one I watched was The Woman in Black, which I think was like 1 or 2 years before.
Right.
And so we went to go see Mama in theater. This is my mom's favorite horror movie, which is interesting. But I do think I love this movie because of like the ending. Because when I originally saw it, I was like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. But also I was a child, so I didn't understand it. And now rewatching it, I honestly like I understand the ending a lot more. And I actually really like it. It's not like the most satisfying thing ever, but it makes sense for the movie.
Yes.
Oh, you don't even know what?
Yeah. I'm
okay,
like,
I'll spoil
blank.
it.
Blank
So
out of
basically,
head.
there's these 2 little girls that they find them in the woods.
Yeah, I know the premise of it because I
Yeah.
worked at the movie theater or
2013?
no, never mind. Why did I know about this?
But
I think
basically,
I watched this. I watched this YouTube video
Oh.
when it first came out. That's why I know the premise.
the ending though is literally like the little girl chooses to be with like Mama, you know, and like the older girl, like more wise, I guess, and like more like willing to like accept like a new mother figure, you know, an alive mother figure.
Yeah.
She stays with what is her name? Annabelle?
It's like her new adoptive mom, the one that like took them in because they found them in the woods.
Yeah. I feel like it's almost like a critique on like stepmoms and like the moms, like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm like getting like from this. Like,
I thought it's definitely something about like your mom doesn't have to be like related, because was the demon mama, she wasn't their actual mom, right? Like when she was alive, she just like found them in the woods and was like taking care of them. The monster.
Because the dad was gonna kill them.
Oh yeah, the demon saves the kids.
Yeah.
Which I think was such a good like the demon was taking care of them the whole time. And so yeah, in the end the little girl chooses the demon mama. I don't even know if she's a demon. She's just like a monster in the woods.
She's really a La Llorona like character type, because her baby like died. You know what I mean? And so then she like searches like the wilderness.
That's such an interesting like monster to have, because it's like what they're searching out for is kind of endearing. Like they lost their child and they want to take care of kids that are like left out. You know what I mean?
I actually felt for her, and then like I felt like she was so protective like of like these two kids that she found. So then like she doesn't want them to go like with like these random people, especially since the dad that like finds them is the twin brother of the dad that was going to kill them.
So like she doesn't, the monster doesn't know. She's just trying to protect like her new kids, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay.
It's a cute is not the word. It's an interesting take on mothers in horror, I think, because they're always like bad moms, but in this one, when
you feel for the monster,
no, the monster was like, and like when the little girl picks the monster, you're like, well, yeah, she took care of her for so long, and like it sucks that she wasn't able to live because like the girl dies.
Yeah, but she chooses the monster to like go die, like they're gonna go die.
Yeah, I wish they kind of just like went off into the woods.
To, like butterflies or like moths or something.
Yeah, so that's where I was like, she died, but I mean, it makes sense.
They're together in spirit.
Yeah. Essentially, they're still together. She's with her mom, and she's with this new other mom. The other girl's with the like alive mom, the live stepmom. So that's, I don't know. I really like what this movie is saying. The female characters are pretty good, I think, in this movie. I don't think it's like you watch it and you're like, oh, this was by a man. Like you can still tell it's definitely made by a man, but like I don't think it's like some of these other ones.
Atrocious as the other ones.
It's definitely not as atrocious.
Like no one's like sexualized, like no one. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think
bare minimum.
I think this is a really underrated horror movie. if you're gonna watch anything from this section, I think Mama is worth a watch because no one knows about it.
Yeah, it was like one of those ones that it just had like the same feel as like the typical horror movies that just get thrown into the theaters, and like the people that like horror want to get scared, watch it, and then move on with their lives. But yeah, I
don't know if it stuck with me because it was one of the first movies I watched, but I think
it's actually a really good film. Like I think that like if you're into horror and you're into women in horror, I think you should watch it.
Go watch it with your mom. It's a fun movie. Or like your mother figure, someone. Go watch it with the mother figure.
Yeah, so like your mom at the end can be like, at least I'm not a monster who.
Yeah. Exactly. Your mom's like, well, at least I didn't do that.
Yeah, at least I didn't do that.
The next monster. Also, well, I'll mention that after. Okay, so the next one is the Babadook. 2014. No. Okay, so this one was directed and I believe written also by female. I don't know why I didn't write the name. Okay, me being sexist.
Yeah, what the hell?
Hold on.
I'm not even connected to the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
my phone.
I'll look it up real quick. So the Babadook came out in 20.
Daniel hates women.
Okay, let's relax. The Babadook. Also, it's weird how like on Twitter they made him into like a gay icon. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
How did that happen?
Why not?
But like, why the Babadook?
Why not?
Babadook, actually, when I first watched it, like a while ago, when I first watched it, I actually had true nightmares. Like when really when she's like under the covers and he's like,
like this movie is really scary. I definitely was way too young to be watching this the first time I saw it because it's very A24-y, but it's not A24. But like it's very like an artsy horror film that I wasn't into that yet. Mm-hmm. So like I saw this and I was like, I hated that movie. But like watching it back, I think it's definitely
99% on Rotten Tomatoes, 98%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so the director and she also wrote it. Fun, Jennifer Kent.
Fun.
Well, because like I love when they write it and direct it. So Jennifer Kent. Thank you for that. Okay, so this movie. I don't even remember. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but essentially the reason that a lot of people were like, oh, this is a different take on women in horror is because for one, the lady's a lot older. She's not like one of the young mothers that they show in here. She's like a lot older, which is not really like now we're seeing that a lot more with like Hereditary and stuff, but like before that was not a big thing. And then also she's like depressed throughout the thing. Like the Babadook is like a manifestation of like her depression kind of. Yeah. And so like the wave, I don't even remember how it ended actually, but essentially that's what the monster is. He's like a manifestation of like her depression and like her, I guess, her fear of being a mother because like she thinks she's being a bad mom.
She thinks that she's like not gonna protect her kid because she couldn't protect like her husband like died, and so she like has like this thing where she like needs to protect like her kid, but she's also like depressed. So like shout out to the moms who have like that they're going through stuff and they're still being like, you know, they're still being moms, you know. So I think like just what that's just like what this movie is she's just like really trying to like save her kid even though he's like super annoying. But
that's another thing about being a mom, like you don't really choose your personality for your kids, so like whatever they turned out like
for like a woman like perspective on like her character, like the only thing I don't like that a lot of like horror movies like and like men who like film it did a man film this or
a woman made this film?
Oh, okay. Well, either way, like the only thing is like sometimes women are like seen as like kind of like fragile or like they have like some sort of like mental health issue or like something like that, which and like they all like in some movie like they're either like super like innocent fragile like so like or they're like super sexualized, like there's no like in between. So I feel like she had to have like something, so I don't know, it kind of just makes me like a little angry. Like I wish like she was like, why can't they ever just start off bad ass, you know, like why can't they ever start off
no, we curse on this podcast.
Curse.
I know, but I don't
she doesn't curse.
Oh.
I literally remember that right now. She doesn't like curse.
Fun
fact
I
about
wish
Kyla.
I didn't.
No, like me too.
It's literally like a nervous like tick that I have. Like I have to like spell things out. Like it's an OCD like thing. Like,
no, but it's really funny when she's like mad, she'll still do it.
Yeah.
Like she's like trying to cusp it, instead she just spells it. She's like she's so mad and like she's like spells the word, and I'm like what? Yeah, or like she uses like frick.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the Babadook. Mother came out with an exclamation point. That was the emphasis.
And lowercase, and also in italics.
And italics. Oh, is it in italics
I'm
too?
pretty sure.
Yeah, it's on the poster like that.
It's on the poster.
Like Mother. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It was released in 2017. Was written and directed by Darren Aronofsky.
He also did Black Swan.
Yes, I love this movie.
Okay.
I just need to get that out there.
You are the minority, I feel like.
The image burned in my head is like Kristen Wiig, like holding like a like in that like
yeah,
like, where, like everything down, and she's like has like people in like cages, and I'm just like this gives me like weird vibes. Like I don't know if I'm on SNL anymore. Like
okay. So I need to explain why I think I like this movie, because I honestly feel like I'm the only person on this planet that likes it, and my screenwriting teacher, because he mentioned it because I mentioned something about it, and he was like, "Oh, I love that movie," and I was like,
"Wait, which teacher?"
I forgot his name. I don't know. I just started. Well, he's like a white man.
Before you get in, I think like when you watch it, it's really confusing, like understanding. But once you understand like kind of what is happening, it makes a lot more sense. And yeah,
it's easier to watch once you realize what's going on, like what the metaphor is.
Yeah, the metaphor. That I was like, what is the fucking word? The metaphor.
Yeah.
Is.
So essentially, it's one big metaphor. The movie, nothing that's happening is like actually happening. If that makes sense, like it's very it's like surrealism. It's like so essentially what the cat. So like what Darren Aronofsky is like trying to say is, so there's oh my god, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence's character is essentially Mother Earth, right? And then Javier Bardem's character is God. And so like I only realized it like halfway through, but okay, so I forgot to say this. So I saw this at a preview screening, like a test screening for this movie, but it wasn't like a test screening because like I don't think he cares what people thought.
No.
It was more like they wanted like a TV spot where like they, with our reactions to the film, because they like filmed us. So I saw this like 4 months before it came out. So I saw this movie, and then after I was like, I don't know what just happened. And I had to sit with that for 4 months because no one, like I couldn't even Google like, okay, so what did that mean? Because no one had seen it.
Yeah, that's not a good movie to watch before you can talk about it.
Yeah, so it just like sat in my brain for 4 months. And like at some point, I think I figured out most of it. I remember like after it came out, I was like, oh, I didn't get that. But like, because I also couldn't watch it again. So it was just what I remembered. So I got like the whole.
I cannot watch that ever again.
Yeah. Oh, me? I watched it like so many times.
It's so fucking long too.
Yeah. It's also really draining.
But also like.
Yeah, it's draining.
Yeah, it's like tiring. Like after you just feel like me being sick. I'm literally a weirdo. Like I don't know. It's not like that. I like watching the movie because I'm like I love what's happening on screen. I just think it's an interesting thing that I hadn't seen done. And it felt, it's not like the first time anyone's done it. It was just the first time I had seen it.
Yeah.
We were biblical. Like literally, like everyone has like a thing. Like Michelle Pfeiffer's character is apparently like Eve, and then her husband. And then like the sons, which is actually very apparent, are like Cain and Abel. You know what I mean? Like when he like kills like his brother.
That part, I was like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It's not a stretch to say that this is like super.
Yeah. And also, I think everyone was confused because there's literally interviews where Darren Aronofsky is like, well, this is what it was. Like, he didn't David Lynch it and like just not tell anyone ever. Yeah. He literally
said it.
Yeah, he fully tells everyone
what
it's about because like everyone hated it.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was interesting. I was reading an interview.
Like Darren Aronofsky is such an interesting filmmaker in general because I feel like he genuinely doesn't give a fuck what people like.
Yeah, he just makes it.
Yeah, he has big dick energy for sure.
He just does what he wants and like puts it out there. He's like, I really don't care if you like it or not.
Yeah, he's like, that's in my head. That's what I thought of it. There you go.
Yeah, seriously.
Fuck you if you don't like it.
Anyway.
But it's also like kind of pretentious. Also, like I feel like he's really pretentious.
Every filmmaker is pretentious. You can't be a filmmaker and not be pretentious, and that's not a bad thing.
But especially Darren Aronofsky. But I love his stuff. I love Black Swan.
Black Swan is one of my top like favorite movies.
It's great. Yeah. It's like Black Swan, it was like the entry level, and then Mother was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
here.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah, it like punches you in the
More on,
face.
like a little taste of what he has, and then it was like, okay.
Yeah. Mother does feel like a punch in the face. Watching this movie feels like you got like literally ran over by a car.
No, exactly.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because like it's so slow for a good like the first 2 acts, and then the third act literally escalates in like probably 3 minutes.
Yeah. And then it just like doesn't stop.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop, and it's like 40 minutes of just like the most overwhelming things you've ever seen, and I just, oh my god.
We're not selling this movie to anybody.
No, everyone go watch it.
But like, actually, you should watch it. You should be in a good headspace when you watch it, but
like understand the like
what we're saying.
Yeah,
pain that I feel when I watch it.
Especially the baby part. I won't mention it.
Oh my gosh, no! Like that one actually made me feel like a little sick.
No, when I saw it, I was like, oh. I can't believe he just did that.
I literally looked at everyone in the movie theaters like reaction to be like, you feel the same way that I do? Or am I just like the only person with like sympathy? I don't know what's going on.
The baby.
Like, no, me too. I was like, hello? Did we see that happen?
I'm like, wait, is this real? Like, did that?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to put that in a movie? Like,
literally.
It's rated R,
it
so
feels
whatever.
Wrong. It literally felt wrong.
It's rated R. It should be like rated like X. Like, I don't know what that was.
There's also nude. It should be. If there's a higher R, I don't know.
NR, right? Non-rated. No.
But it's also not that. I feel like the movies that are not rated are like just over the top gory. This movie wasn't really gory. It was just really intense.
Yeah. It fucks with your head. It's like a different type of horror. Like it's like fucks with your head. You think like you're thinking about your existence for like the next.
Evaluate your whole life. Like you really like after.
Basically, what Darren Aronofsky is trying to say in this movie is like the story of creation from the Bible, but from the female point of view, and so like from Mother Earth's point of view. So essentially, like the first like 2 hours are like the first half of the Bible, I guess you could say,
like Old Testament.
Once like the party starts, which in the house, it's like huge. It's a party.
It is
because the movie's so quiet, and then the music starts like. It's boom, like boom, boom, and your heart is like no, oh no. And then
anxiety.
Like, it's like every war, every like bad thing that has ever happened on Earth happens inside the house in like 2 minutes, and it is very overwhelming. But it's one of my favorite scenes. Well, I don't know if favorite scenes is a good way to put it. It's just fun. I don't know if fun is a good word to use either.
Choice.
So yeah, it's interesting to see what he was doing with this film. Definitely an interesting film. But the reason we included this on this list was because it's like how it's like he said, like it's a feminine perspective of this story, and like how Mother Earth, I guess if she was a character, we literally like took everything from her. We like abused her. We like stripped her of everything that like she could give us, and then we're like climate change. Basically, a big thing about climate change.
Yeah.
Climate change.
Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He had a very artsy, surrealist take on it, but he's not wrong. And do what you can to help the environment.
It's also very edgy.
You can do a lot more than you think also. I mean, go on a sustainability fucking round.
Sustainability class, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you so much. Our Hollywood says save the earth.
But actually though.
No, actually though.
Puberty.
Okay, so this one,
everyone's favorite topic.
I'm excited to talk about this topic because I feel like it's like in horror. This is essentially horror's version of coming of age.
Yeah,
but it's like a very ugly like.
Yeah, well, Hollywood is obsessed with the concept of virginity and purity.
Yes,
and pretty much all these movies. Yeah, all of them have to do with that. Starting with Carrie. What year is this? 1976. I just watched this a mere few hours ago. Yeah, I hated like the male. The story I think would have been more interesting if it was from a female point of view and a female directed it and everything. It just felt very creepy. it was very creepy. Especially, it sets up really creepy because the opening scene is literally a locker room scene with girls and this full frontal nudity, and like it's slow-mo, like you can see boobs, you can see literal full bushes.
Invasive.
They like tried to like. I feel like the guy like from a man's like point of view, I feel like they add like nudity to be like, oh, look at this. Okay, now listen to what I'm saying. Like it's like they draw people in like with that, and it's just like
it's gross.
It's weird.
And then the first time we meet Carrie, she's literally fully naked.
Yeah.
And isn't that icky? That's literally so icky, and I don't like Brian.
Like a high schooler, like too.
Yeah.
They're trying to like sexualize like, in a way, like because all the other like everyone is like naked, and so it's just kind of like.
Also, did people in the 70s get fully fucking naked in their locker room? Because I literally tried my hardest.
Nothing against it. However, no one was naked at the same time. Okay,
not
like
at that age. Like
you turned around.
They were, yeah.
We like trying to like put it. Yeah.
With the locker like this, so that you can like.
And then you like turn around. You're like, okay, they're all turned around. Okay.
And then you quickly change. Wow.
Yeah, you get it all set up so when you actually have to reveal yourself, it's like 2 seconds.
It's like you get the like you
no
get it down.
One's throwing shit at each other fully nude, like
and just walking around, everything out. Like
not at that age. Like yes, like be comfortable with your own body, but not at that age when you're this section is puberty. When you're so vulnerable about your body, like it's changing so much, and then like also like I cannot believe that all these people were so ugly to her. The fact that she got her period,
I don't understand that either. Literally, like they're all girls. Like, don't they understand? Like, literally in real life, if that happened, like, oh, do you need one? Like, you don't freaking throw freaking like tampons like at them or like throw like some nasty stuff. Like,
yeah, I think also the way the director like directed her to act, like. It's just, I know like Carrie's supposed to be like a little bit sheltered and like I don't really know like much about her as a character, but like if she has like learning disabilities or something like that, like I don't know anything about that, but like the fact that she literally was just like touching people like with bloody hands. And it was like help me! Like the way that it was acted, I don't like from the director, like because she had to be directed to do that. I don't think if I got that script, that's what I would think to do. Firsthand.
Picture like blood all over whoever comes near you.
So I wonder why he, as a director, told her to do that.
Good, Brian, De Palma.
Brian, let us know because right now I'm not a big fan of you.
Like menstruation is like this freaking like. Gory, like really. I mean, sometimes it is gory, but I mean, like, why is he trying to make it so like disgusting, like gross? Like they're having like the one weird girl, like Carrie. I'm doing quotations. She's not weird. No one's weird. But I'm just saying that like, why are they like giving her like the only like considered weird girl like the menstruation, like why is she getting her period, like you know what I mean, like and why is it gross, like and why is it like all why is blood like such a like gross like thing, you know what I mean? So
let's destigmatize periods because it's normal AF and it's hard AF. Like it's so fucking hard. And then also like I can't believe every single one of them, there was not one good person in that room.
I don't get that.
We're still talking about the locker room scene?
Yeah, first of all, because like I would have been the person like, yo, shut up, like it doesn't matter. Hey girly, let's go here, get you some clothes and fucking give you here's how to put the pad on there, like, and not on the other I don't know, it just made me so angry how all these girls treated her. Like why? I mean, there's mean girls in high school, but not everyone was fucking mean. And also like the gym teacher, good God, what the fuck kind of where did she go to school? Because there had no boundaries. She hit 2 of her students. She also touched them at prom. Like if a teacher touched my face like that, I would literally be like, what the fuck are you doing, Miss Ma'am? Get away from me. Because I didn't get it. I was like, what is her point of her character? Like she's protecting her, but also she's doing it in such a weird way.
In the book, it's really because in the book it's like a counselor, or is the counselor still a character too, a different one?
No, the counselor, it's just the principal.
Because there's a
gym teacher, right? It's just literally just like the gym teacher.
It's always the gym teacher.
Yeah,
I thought there was a count in the remake too. Oh, but you haven't seen the remake. Have you seen the remake?
I saw the remake, but not like in its entirety because like I don't know. It was okay. I think it's just because like I have something against Chloe Grace Moretz. So
okay, that's literally what Kim was saying. Kim was like, because let's explain this really quickly.
Can we come back to the gym teacher thing?
Yes, we will. We will.
It bothers the living shit out of me.
We will come back to it. So the original Carrie, the story is written by Stephen King, who is a man, and the original film was directed by a man, but the remake was directed by a woman. So the everything is a lot different. So like, instead of the movie starting how it did in this one, the movie starts with Carrie's mom giving birth to Carrie, and like being like disgusted that she had child. And they also explain a lot more of why she's like that, because in the original one they kind of just make her like a I don't know, like a Bible thumper, I guess. They don't explain why she's like that.
Yeah.
But in the new one, they kind of like hint at the fact that like maybe she was abused, maybe like something happened to her when she was a kid that made her see like sex as this like taboo thing. And that's why she doesn't teach Carrie about her period. She doesn't teach Carrie about any of these other things. And that's why Carrie is like literally does not understand what's going on when she gets her period. But also in the remake, she's like wearing a towel. It's more of a scary scene than it is like sexualized. I don't think there's a single naked body in the
shouldn't
remake.
be.
I like how I can tell that like a woman directed it now, like the way like you're describing it, you know what I mean, like is definitely like a woman like directing, like giving it like meaning, you know what I mean, like there's a reason for this, like, you know what I mean, not just like, oh look at this, here's some boobs, you know what I mean, like
no, literally. And like the most important relationship in that movie is between Carrie and her mom.
Yeah.
So for
it would make everything else make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because that's why literally it's the reason everything happens. It's the reason like Carrie has like pent up like aggression. It's because her mom.
That's why she can't interact with people her age. Like she doesn't get social cues. Like, well, maybe there's another reason for that, but we don't know.
Yeah. So So I definitely think the remake. I am in the minority here, but I definitely think the remake is a lot better. I just think this story has to be told from a female perspective, because literally about a female coming to terms with like, I don't know, growing up, I guess. Which like that's not a story a guy should be telling, honestly, especially if they're gonna
watch the remake in its entirety if Chloe Grace Moretz was not in it, and it would be
okay. That's the other thing. So for some reason, because like I'm also guilty of this, for some reason everyone didn't like Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, what did she do? I literally Googled it and I couldn't find it.
Did you have like some random vendetta, guys? I hated her for no reason. I don't think
I liked her either.
But like, what did she do?
I truly just I have like a thing. I just cannot watch a movie.
For me, I don't remember, but I remember not liking like the way she acted for like a while. Okay, she's very facial. Yeah, like they're Debbie Ryan type of vibe, type of beat. You know what I mean?
I think it's because like when this movie came out, she was also in like 6 other movies at the same time.
Yeah,
so
I think
she was in everything.
Hollywood needs to stop throwing actresses down our throats, because I think that makes us hate her. Because I think like all of the movies that she was in were like very mediocre. So like
literally about Joey King. So
okay, but interesting.
Oh my god, the same thing's happening to Joey King right now. People don't hate her. No, girls don't like her.
I do not like Joey King.
Okay, here's something I'm gonna bring up.
I love you, Joey King.
Yeah, me too. So Ansel Elgort is also in this remake, and at this time he was also in like every other movie. So why do you think
internalized misogyny?
Yeah, so why do you think he didn't get the hate that Chloe got? Because he's in this movie?
I don't like Ansel Elgort, but that's because of like his other like
But before we did like Ansel Elgort.
So
internalized misogyny.
Why did I realize that?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to like talk about everything before like the podcast. But that's the same thing with Joey King happening right now. People hate her, but why doesn't anybody hate Jacob Elordi? Because he has fucking abs. Because he has abs and he's in Euphoria.
But I've only seen him in like 2 things.
Yeah. I feel like more comparable right now is like, wait, actually, I don't think they do this anymore.
No, they definitely do.
Well, who's like Jacob Elordi's only been.
We don't pay attention to it because it's not our demographic.
Noah Centineo is a better example.
No.
Well, he's in more things. No, he was in
He's on Netflix like a million times.
Oh,
there was
wait.
like a bunch of Netflix
Yeah.
original movies.
Why
that
did I
he's
think
in.
he was like in 1,000 things?
Okay, people did like him at first though, but he put himself under the ringer with all those
Yeah, it's
weird
his
videos
fault.
that got leaked at him.
No, okay, we're getting way off track. Okay, anyway.
Cut this out.
No, because I think it's funny.
No.
So, okay, I'm gonna read a quote.
Gym teacher.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna read a quote that Stephen King said about what this story is about. He said, "The film focuses on not only what men fear about women's sexuality, but also women fearing each other's strengths."
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why people hate Joey King.
I thought we were gonna get more deep in there, but
No.
okay, so I guess it does tie back to what we were talking about.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
but it does. It absolutely is because men are so uncomfortable when think about okay. This sounds like it's not comparable at all, but it is. Like, you know how Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion came out with WAP, right?
Okay.
And everybody and their fucking mother was like, "Oh my god, this is disgusting that women are talking about this." Blah 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 blah. But men in rap have been talking about sexualizing women for years, and everyone's like, "Yeah, turn that shit up." But when the women are talking about their own fucking body parts,
yeah.
that's what? How make that make sense to me? It absolutely doesn't make sense to me. And like that's just one example, but it's like inbred in our society that like women, and also like the people have been noticing and becoming conscious that like women can't have any sort of personality without without people hating on women for doing so. So women can't win. It's so infuriating, and it's true AF. And it's just like, why are we having such opinions and we always question women? It's really...
Yeah, why are we having such opinions?
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
Not everything needs an opinion. Us with a podcast. But like, you know, like I feel like there are certain things...
We don't force people to listen to our opinions, though.
That's true. And we always say, like, we could be wrong. Like, do what you want.
Yeah. No. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that opinion, especially men don't have that opinion because our society is literally built around men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our country, literally America, was founded all by men. Mm-hmm. No women's opinions were taken account. No POC's opinions were taken into account. And our country literally is so young in comparison to every other country in this fucking world.
No, literally.
So I don't understand. It makes me so pissed off. And like, I think we need to get better about educating about the wrongs, because I feel like growing up in like public school and everything, you're only taught about like the positive, quote unquote, positive things that happen in history. And it's like, that's not it. And that's why history repeats itself, because injustices are swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to talk crap about like what like has been done wrong in history books. They're going to talk about like, this is great. That's why we love America. That's why we're amazing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, literally. They're like, look at this cute little dinner that Christopher Columbus had with his BFFs. And
they're like,
the fact that he was a terrible person, but like, whatever.
No, literally.
And they're like, Abraham Lincoln freed all the slaves. No, he did not.
No.
Abraham Lincoln didn't do shit.
So Carrie. No, he literally. Okay.
Anyways, also back to the women fearing each other's strengths. I feel that's another thing that we see a lot, especially in media, is like women are always pitted against each other. And it's like, why are we doing that? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, women are always put against each other. And it's like, okay, who's better? Even like down to like who wore it better.
Yeah, no, literally.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Like, and I am so guilty of that. Like, who cares?
But I feel like it's not like, it's like that's what we've been seeing, so we just start doing it. Like,
we don't question it.
Yeah. And
I think it's like, it's gross. But Stephen King is right about that one. He may have some like weird storylines about children.
But let's not get into that.
That quote, I will stand by.
Yeah, I definitely think what Brian De Palma took from this story was definitely not the right. No. He definitely just was like, oh, girl has powers and kills all her classmates, and that's what he took from it, and that's what he went with. I definitely think the remake does a better job, but I feel like we could we could give Carrie the A Star Is Born treatment, make a new one in like 20 years.
I feel like it could be limited series as well.
Oh, definitely. Because then it would build up more to like when Carrie snaps. Because like you see why it happened.
It would be interesting to see her classmates interact with her a little bit more, and then we would see like her relationship when she goes home. Like, because like when you have a film, you can't spend that much time like developing those relationships. But I feel like Carrie, especially from like a female point of view in like 2020, I think would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you watch Carrie 2?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a second one.
The Rage.
Oh wait.
Oh no.
Yes, I did, but it's like a different girl, right?
Yeah, it's a different girl, but I'm just saying that it's like same idea, same thing. Like they did not learn from their mistakes. You know what I mean? Like it was still.
Carrie's better than this. Like the character of Carrie deserves better.
I love this. This is one of my favorite horror characters ever. I think.
Yeah.
I love this story. I just think it needs to be done better. I honestly think the whole period thing, we could like take the period scene. We could take the way that Brian De Palma sexualized it. We can literally just take that whole thing out. And honestly, the people that can be like, what if it maybe like happens in like the hallway and like she is fully clothed, but like the men are the ones that like because
and like she bleeds through her pants.
And that points out how men are just so like ignorant to like women's like.
Because
us rewriting Carrie right now.
Okay, sorry, Steven, but we're right. But like, let's be honest, men would be the ones that would do this in real life. I've seen them do it.
Not do this at all in any era. I feel like this is not like a thing.
Because all those other girls that were attacking Carrie, they also get their period, so they understand. So why would they?
Probably like literally like had the same experience and like had to like run to the bathroom and like had to do it. So like honestly, no, I don't believe that. Like, even if they were her bullies, like, no freaking bully is gonna, like, no.
Like, who cares? Like, all the girls, all those fucking girls, why do you have so much time to make this girl's life a living hell?
No, Lidge.
Why
the whole plan?
Literally.
Like, go to school.
No, and the fact that they're, like, in the fucking...
School president, like, all the stuff, like, don't you have, like, what?
Why are they laughing at her? Like, I was like, y'all got no souls. What is wrong with you guys? Like... I couldn't imagine being in high school, like, caring that much about a person to, like, go out of my way to fucking fake them being prom queen, setting up this fucking blood.
This complex, like, contraption.
Yeah. Also, no, not yet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Coach, the last thing you need to say about the Coach, and then we'll move on.
Well, no, I just don't understand what her character was. Like, what was the purpose?
In the remake, okay, does she die in the original one?
No.
Yes.
Like at the prom scene?
She dies?
Remember, she dies, and then
Does
it was
the thing fall on her like that?
Or whatever.
Oh, yes, the thing falls on her like this. I don't know what it was, though, but it was like...
I think I was just so angry about the whole scene, I blacked that out.
Okay, so in the remake...
She got impaled, and I just remember being like, wait, she was there for you. But then when I, like, think about it, I'm just like, it was really weird and, like, sketchy, and, like, why did she, like, feel the... I don't know. It was just weird. Okay,
in the remake, so this character's a lot different, and she's a lot more sympathetic towards Carrie, but in the prom scene, Carrie saves her. So she kills everyone except her. Well, and also the like friend, but like she like there's like she like electric. I don't know. You need to watch it because the two scenes are very very different. But she like saves her from the whole massacre, I guess, which is also a very interesting thing. I don't know. I think the character of the coach and the character of the mother need to be more developed and also more explained. And also obviously the classmates. This needs to be a show. You're right.
It does need to be a show.
Every Stephen King show has to be a show.
I almost need a point of view from like the bully's like perspective. Like what's going on? Like, why are you doing this?
And last note about how awful this first movie is literally all of the women's bodies are like cut off. Like there's so many weird shots of women's bodies like without their heads, like literally just their bodies. Like the detention scene with the coach and like the classmates, like when they're working out, it's like literally all the bodies, and it's also trailing the coach's butt and like.
Brian De Palma, go to therapy.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I have to say. Also, Stephen King, go to therapy. Like, I love you, sir, but some of the things, like, he literally invented horror, but like, also like, go to therapy. Anyway, The Craft, 1996, directed by Andrew Fleming. So I had never seen this movie in my life. I knew like about it, and I knew like the basic premise, but I'd never seen it. And every single list that was like feminist horror films had this movie on it. So I was like, I have to watch it. I've been meaning to watch it, and we have to talk about it. And so like the notes that I had were like when I saw that they were like why it was feminist, and then I watched it. And
it is absolutely not feminist in no way, shape, or form. The only reason why people think it's feminist or why it was probably on that is because it's an all-girl witch group and they are pretty. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's like, you know what I mean? Like that's literally like why it's like seen as that, and then they like get revenge on like their bullies and stuff. Yeah. Okay, but when you think about this, who the heck is going to use their power? Like, you have powers. Like, you have full-on powers to do anything you want. You change your hair color. Like, that's what you do with your power. You freaking, like, make some girl's hair fall out. Like, you do, like, all of, like, oh, my gosh. I just, this
okay, so
some type of way.
No, yeah. So the basic premise of this movie is this girl moves to a new school and she's like trying to make friends, and there's this group of 3 girls that everyone's like, oh, they're weird, they're witches, like don't hang out with them. She becomes friends with them. The girls are thinking like, oh, she's like the 4th one, like the 4 elements, like they need a 4th witch or whatever. And basically they start realizing that like the new girl Sarah has
she's
like
actually a witch, like a natural witch.
Yeah, she has like actual powers because I guess her mom was a witch, which they didn't really build on. They just kind of dropped that in the middle of the movie.
No, literally.
Not build on that at all.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, by the way, your mom was a witch, but this random store owner tells her. And then the other girls turn against her because they start getting everything they want from these powers that they're getting. And then they're like, yeah, they want more. And then like Sarah's like
they're turning more evil like than anything.
Yeah. But here's the thing. What they wanted wasn't really outrageous. So like one of them just wanted to feel confident in her body and like get rid of some scars, which like fine, okay. One of them wanted this racist girl at school to stop bullying her, valid. The other one wanted her mom to get rid of her abusive boyfriend and for them to have money because they were poor.
Very valid. And why was she considered like the
villain?
Do you know what I mean? It's like she's so crazy because she doesn't want anything normal. She just wants to get rid of like her, like, you know what I mean? Like she wants to get rid of like the misogynistic pig that like lives with her. You know what I mean? So I don't understand.
And then the main character that we're supposed to like identify with, what she wants is for this
so bad.
She wants for this guy who, by the way, is very clearly horrible from the beginning. Literally a piece of garbage from the beginning. It's not like it's revealed that he's a piece of garbage. He's been a piece of garbage since the start of the film. And they all tell her, they literally like, he's bad news. And she's like, well, my wish is going to be that like, I want him to love me.
I know it's embarrassing, but puts a picture of Donovan. I was like, yeah, it is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. These girls all want valid things. And then they're the villains for wanting better. That just doesn't make sense to me. And I was like, okay, this movie needs. And they did make a sequel. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I heard it has the same issues as the first one.
Wait, there's a sequel? Is it the same people?
No. Well, it's like a reboot because what's her name? The one that's the villain is in it.
Yeah, Nancy makes an appearance, I guess, because I think one of the girls is her daughter. But she's still in like okay, so the other main problem that like people had with this movie was like the Nancy, who's the character that like ends up being villain against Sarah, she ends up in an asylum.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the worst part. I absolutely hated that.
I was like, are you?
I was like, okay, hold on. So this is the first time I watched this movie too. The only reason I knew about it was because the fashion.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I knew about
fashion, it. Like it looks great. So like, oh my gosh, like I'd love to watch this at like a sleepover. But then you like really think about all the misogyny that are in this.
Yeah, and I watched it and I was just like, what? Am I watching the right movie? Like, what? Yeah. Like, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not understanding why people like hype it up so much. I love, like, not to be rude, but like, I really wanted to like it. Like, I genuinely went in and I was like, I'm probably going to like this movie because it's like right up my alley, cool fashion, 90s, girls, like, 90s, like, love that. And then all the characters, like, the ones that, again, like, had important things that could have been fully fleshed out more. Like, I thought the two, like, kind of like side witches, like, had very interesting plot lines that
we just don't see it.
Yeah, like, we get 2 scenes of it, and it's not fully established, and I just
also to make the one black witch character her problem be racism is it's such a cop out. I'm like,
I know.
that's the only thing you could come up with.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a
like for no substance, and it like makes me like angry.
Like blatant racism.
Oh,
like, not even like microaggressions, like full on blatantly she's saying it to her fucking face. Like, how traumatizing is that if you're a, like, I can only imagine. Like, what? Like, I just, girlies, let it, like, I genuinely want to know why you like this movie. Is it just because of the fashion? Is it just because of the, like, the hot people? Like, valid, but are we understanding what's happening in the plot? Because, like, do we not want better for these girlies?
For these girlies.
Like, I wish, like, obviously
I'm like so afraid to like tear it apart because so many people like it, and I'm just not understanding.
I wish we could get it again with the same actresses, but like better.
Yeah,
because like
that's the thing is the actresses, like Neve Campbell was huge during that time too, and she was like in it, and I feel like it was so just like, you know what's so weird is that it's so popular with like women, like it's so popular. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that it like attracts us to this movie? For me, it really was like the fashion, the whole like oh my gosh, like the trench coat, the little mini skirt, like great,
the leather, the chokers, like, we love
a little facade to like hide like, oh my gosh, like there are so many things wrong with this movie, like.
Yeah.
Well, I want to bring up the points that like a lot of the like the lists were saying, because we completely trashed this movie right now. But I do think there are benefits.
I really wanted to like it.
I did too. So one point that was brought up was that like in the 80s and 90s we had a lot of like rebel teen boy movies. So The Outsiders, The Lost Boys, that kind of thing. But for girls, they didn't really have this. So like The Craft kind of they were picking at straws because they didn't have much. But like it was like, for the girls who felt like outsiders, this is their movie, you know? Because like it was catered towards, supposed to be. So they were like, that's one reason that a lot of people
they're like,
it.
here, you can have like an all-women cast, but they all hate each other and they're all being really mean to each other.
Yeah. And then
can we just have a friendship movie?
BFFs.
But them also being like rebels. Like, I feel like there were so many easy fixes that they could have had. Because like
no one truly like good to each other in that movie. Like there was no one, like none of the girls were like good to each other. Like everyone was like
how cool would it have been just like simply adding like a scene like of one of the girls also standing up for their friend, like if like the skin or like they
empowerment, like where's like the standing together, like what is I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool to see a scene of the four witches using their powers together. Very Charmed, like something like that, and then we just don't get it.
Like an outside force, maybe a male force?
Like a male evil witch. Make what's his name a witch. He was like secretly a witch hunter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was such an easy fix, I feel like.
Yeah.
They just were like, no, let's make this very complicated and misogynistic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I know they made a sequel. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on that. But I would love to see this again as a series.
Yeah, I read the reviews on the new one, and it said that it also didn't develop like the side witches and like stuff too, which is just like, I think this also deserves a TV series. Yeah. To be honest, like I think it would be really cool, especially because like I feel like. And I think it has interesting takes on spirituality as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people our age especially are very much into that right now. Like there's whole witch talk, there's like, and spirituality, like people are very interested in that. And I feel like The Craft could have a way of like introducing spirituality, but also like making it fantasy kind of with like witches.
Yeah.
So
I also like that the witchcraft felt very like grounded in a way. Like at first I was like, wait, maybe they're not actually witches. Cause like, they're like, oh, we made that guy get hit. Right? Like they're like, oh, we made that guy get hit by a car. But because like really it could have been a coincidence, but then they start flying. So you're like, oh, just kidding. Yeah. So I don't know. They can do something with that. I don't know. Web series or miniseries again.
Yeah.
That's the common theme that we're saying.
It had very culty vibes too, you know?
Yes, it did. Jennifer's Body, released in 2009, starring Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. It flopped when it came out. Everyone hated it. And now it's like
internalized misogyny.
Yes. So the basic premise of this movie is Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried are like BFFs. And then like...
Well, they were. Right?
Well, like at the start of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. They were like distanced or whatever.
Yeah.
They go to this party and this like satanic band is there, and they kidnap Megan Fox's character and like sacrifice her to the devil. They turn her into this like demon that eats men, and that's
fun.
So that's like the very basic premise of the movie.
As she should.
And there's also like undertones of like sexuality going on through it. Like again, that's like the overarching theme of this section is like puberty and like growing up. However, Hollywood, what they did to Megan Fox, especially in this movie, I think it's a really good example of what they did to her. The marketing for this movie, look up posters, look up like trailers.
Yeah, I know. This
movie looked like it was gonna like they marketed it towards men when this is clearly a female story. They literally marketed her body when they could have been like marketing the fact that this was a female horror film, which obviously there's female horror fans more probably than men. And like, I just don't understand how they messed this up so badly.
Look at the year it came out.
Oh yeah, like you said earlier, that was not a good time.
Like this, like mid 2000s to like 2010 was such an awful time.
Yeah,
for like women to be big, because all anybody cared about was how sexy they looked on the red carpet, or like, oh my god, like it's just so icky when you look back on it. Why did everybody care so much about?
When did you first see this movie?
I saw it when, like, probably around this time. Like, I wasn't allowed to see it when in theaters because it was like rated R, but it was like everybody was talking. Everybody was also sexualizing it when it first came out, until like kind of recently when people like were like, "Hey, didn't we actually like Jennifer's Body?" And everyone's like, "Yes, I love that movie." And like it was kind of like you couldn't openly be like, "I love this movie," really, until like recently, and everybody sexualized it. But I remember everybody's just so horny. So like we watched it, and then I was like, we were watching it just to like see and like Amanda Seyfried and like Megan Fox kiss, because like that's what everyone was talking about it. So I was like, I want to see that. Why not? Like
that was what was marketed. They were like, they're gonna kiss. By the way, go watch it.
Like, okay, when you think about it, Megan Fox, like, what do you think of? What type of movie do you think of?
Honestly,
Michael Bay
Transformers.
Movies. Yeah. Michael Bay movies.
Yeah,
but like, what kind of character? Like, what kind of character is she?
Like hot, sexy girl. Yeah, like
she's been marketed as that. So her like on like the billboards for Jennifer's Body or whatever, like people are saying, "Oh my gosh, it's Megan Fox. It's gonna be like hot. It's gonna be like this." You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was almost like. I feel like it's almost not even like this movie's complete fault. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's literally like her
Hollywood's fault.
Do you know what I mean? Like, or whoever marketed her as this like sexy, like whatever, like instead of like making her like a true like actress. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel so bad for her.
She's actually a really good person too.
I love Megan Fox.
She's really great. I mean, we've all been apologizing to her recently.
Yeah,
but I've seen her as like a true actress, like Amanda Seyfried.
Her New Girl was really good.
She's a New Girl?
Yeah. She was Nick Miller's girlfriend for a little bit.
Oh,
she's like in multiple episodes?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and she's really good in it. And I was like, this is what Megan deserved.
I know she has a new movie coming out soon. She's getting her comeback.
Wasn't Megan Fox also on New Girl?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Wait, Amanda Seyfried was on New Girl?
No, I was talking about Megan Fox.
I thought you said Amanda Seyfried. That's why I was like,
no.
What?
I was being confused.
It was Megan Fox. But yeah, I thought it was weird that like Megan Fox like went through this treatment, but Amanda Seyfried like got Mamma Mia. Like
that's what I'm saying.
This like hype. I think it's Michael Bay's fault.
Yeah.
It is. He treated her very horribly. He is a misogynist. You know what? I don't fucking care. Michael Bay is misogynist. Like, I don't think anybody really likes Michael Bay.
No.
Besides men who also like Trump. So, whoopsies. You're not listening to our podcast.
They're not. That's not our demographic.
No. But I think this movie is absolutely getting like the respect that it deserves in regards to feminist horror. And like, I'm so sorry that they got queer baited the fuck out of, like, because that wasn't the point. Like, when the kiss happens, you're like,
It's not really, yeah.
You're like, okay, like,
kind of like assume that it's going to happen anyways because of their relationship. Like people like I don't think people like realize that, like they didn't even think about like, oh, this is actually very like emotional, like for her, like especially for Needy, you know what I mean? Like she actually like really like loved like Jennifer, you know what I mean? And so there's so much more story to it that is completely like covered up by the fact that like, oh, two hot girls are kissing. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like it makes me so angry, like especially like I feel like that's like how like a lot of like whatchamacallit, like LGBTQ plus like are like presented. Do you know what I mean? So it just makes me kind of like actually very angry like about like, when I think about it. Like even when I first watched it though, I'm like, why is it always like it has to be super sexualized? Like why can't it be just like they're in love? You know what I mean? Like they love each other. They're like best friends. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
It would have been so interesting if they like focused more on like Needy and like the fact that she actually did love her and like it really fucked with like her relationships like with men and stuff, and like because she felt like she was like covering a part of her because she did love Jennifer and like
this is a great movie.
And you can like tell it with like her like uneasiness with like her sex scene with like the little Chip boyfriend with Chip.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you know what I mean? Like you can tell like there's so many like hidden like things like about like Needy that like people just completely disregard because of like how it like looks, like how everything looked. So I think
if you oh sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I just think that like this movie should have gotten like a little bit more like credit in certain areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2009 was not the year.
I think no, definitely not the year for this movie. I think like if you compare The Craft and Jennifer's Body and how they have their female characters and the relationships between the female characters, like Jennifer's Body, Needy and Jennifer, like they're pitted against each other, but not because like they're girls and they're mad. Like it's literally because like Jennifer literally is like has to kill people to survive now, and Needy is literally in love with her. Whereas in The Craft, Sarah, first, I don't even know why she was like, well, witches are being bad, when like really all they wanted was better for themselves, and that doesn't really make sense. So, and also Jennifer.
The Craft, it was because Sarah was like,
they killed that guy.
I forgot Nancy did that. Okay.
And like Sarah was already like uncomfortable with her powers because she didn't know, and like she didn't know her mom, and like her first experience like exploring her witchiness is negative. Like she doesn't want
honestly,
that.
Sarah was just like was trying to be like polite and was like, I just don't really want to like practice it anymore. And then like for some reason they all just got so mad at her, and then
came out of nowhere.
You're right. I forgot.
Like, okay, who cares that she doesn't want, like, you have powers, like what, like I don't understand. But then they had to like torment her and then freaking like have snakes in her bath
and
like
then threatened to kill her.
They tried to kill her. Like that's the thing is like why did they all gang up against her because she didn't like align with like what they wanted? Like I don't understand why like another thing about like women being pitted against each other like in this, like they just for some reason it was just like their natural instinct to like, oh, you're not on my side, so I hate you now.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think Jennifer's Body definitely did a better job of like why, because the men are the villains in Jennifer's Body. It's not Jennifer.
Yeah. Which is not how it was marketed, though.
No, definitely not.
Fuck you, Hollywood, for that one.
Like, when Needy like kills like the band that like did it, like she's just like reaffirming like, hey, it wasn't Jennifer's fault. Like it's these guys' fault. Especially even when like when she kills Jennifer at the end, you know it like hurts her. Like that slow-mo fall, like when like the whole thing, like you know it like hurts her. Like so you can tell that it's like Jennifer's not like the evil like one like. The evil one in this like movie, like it really is those like satanic freaking 5 minutes of fame guys, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're gonna pick between Jennifer's Body and The Craft to watch, definitely go with Jennifer's Body. And
you can look at the Craft outfits on Pinterest.
Yeah, just look at the pictures and pretend the movie doesn't exist. Raw was this is the last one for this category, but Raw was released in 2017, directed by Julia Ducournau. Ducournau? I don't know. She's French. So this is a French movie. I watched this for the first time last night, and I love this movie so much. First of all, French movies are like so, like you have to know that you're going in to watch a French movie because French movies are just different and also very
I'm gonna be
sexual.
I'm gonna be that person. It's like French movies are really good. They are that bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that film person.
And so so all I knew about this movie was like, oh, it's about a girl turning into a cannibal and like, but it's like feminist. That's literally all I knew.
It's a weird time to be watching this movie in the era of Armie Hammer.
Oh my gosh!
I had to make that joke. Sorry,
Okay.
keep going.
No, but here's the thing. Armie Hammer is not likable now.
Now.
But like
he had everybody fooled for a minute.
He did have everybody
Not
fooled.
me.
Not me either. But the character in this movie is so likable, especially for the fact that she's eating flesh. Okay, so basically, here's what the movie's about. So the movie starts off, I honestly didn't realize it was French. So like I was like, oh god, I have to pay attention. Because like some of these movies I can watch while doing tasks and like getting stuff done. But this one I was like, okay, I have to sit down and watch this.
Yeah.
There were subtitles.
A lot to take in as well. It is a lot to take in.
Yes.
Like really just like mess with you.
Yeah. So the basic premise is this girl, her name is, I don't remember. I don't even.
Is it Jay? It's like Janice?
Let's call her Jay. I don't know if that's her name. We're just gonna call her Jay. So Jay wants to be a vet. So she's going to vet school, which by the way, I thought I missed like the first part of the movie. And so I thought she was like in military school because they're like hazing and the buildings look like prison and she's going to vet school. Oh, Justine.
She's a vegetarian too?
Yes. So the like whole thing of the movie is like she goes to vet school and they're like hazing them like very intensely. Which
vet school?
Vet school. I don't know. What? And so they're like hazing them like so badly. And then there's a scene where they're like all covered in blood, whatever. And they're like making them eat raw rabbit. And she's like, well, no, I'm a vegetarian.
I'm a vegetarian. Like, yeah.
She's like, no, I'm a vegetarian. He's like, oh, you are? She's like, yeah, I can call my parents if you don't believe me. But
I can call my
her sister also goes to the school. She's like a third year, I think.
Yeah.
And so her sister's allegedly also vegetarian. So she's like, she tells her sister, she's like, tell them I'm vegetarian. She's like, just do it or like everyone's gonna hate you. And she's like, okay.
Girl, what?
So then she eats the raw rabbit, and she turns out she really likes eating raw things. So like as the movie goes on,
girl eats sushi. Why are you eating? What?
No, but listen, it's because they're just like presented to her. So like as the movie goes on, she starts like it goes more and more and more. But the turning point comes when like, and also again, this movie is directed by a woman. So like it's important to know that when you watch it because it's a lot of it is about this character like coming to terms with her sexuality and like growing up. And so there's a lot of scenes where you're like, what is going on? But it makes sense. So like there's a scene.
It really does make sense. Like I feel like I knew that like a woman had directed it, even actually not knowing that a woman had directed it. Like I was like, oh, definitely, because like
it had to be
feelings like I don't know how to describe it. It's like if you're a woman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like when you're like, watching this, like
the main relationship in this movie is between two female characters, the girl and her sister. So like I think the pivotal scene in the movie when I was like, oh my god, is when her sister is giving Justine a bikini wax, and so oh man, that scared me so much. She's giving her a bikini wax, and then like something happens. Like the wax gets stuck or something, and Justine like is gonna freak out. Yeah, no, it's like on the side, but still. Okay. She's like freaking out, and the sister's like relax, blah blah blah, and she has like this pair of scissors because she's gonna cut the wax off, and like it's like the tension is rising, and then
the music, you're like
oh god, something's gonna happen, and then like Justine kicks her because she's like stop, like you're gonna hurt me, and the sister like raises her hand, and turns out her finger got cut off. Her like middle finger was cut off by the scissors on accident when she kicked her. And it just don't think about it too hard.
And just the freaking finger.
Yeah. So she calls 911 and Justine is like, oh my god, like what do we do? And they're like, put it on ice, like we'll be able to reattach it. And so she's sitting there like freaking out, and then she looks at the finger and she's like, wait a minute. And she eats the finger. She eats her sister's finger, and then her sister wakes up and sees her eating it. And you're like, uh-oh.
Why'd she fall asleep?
No, she passed out because like her.
The way I saw this though, it's like all about experimentation. Like she's really just experimenting, like with like what it is. Like obviously, it's cannibalism is just like
the metaphor for it.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for it. Like, but like even when she's like biting her arm or whatever, like when she's with Adrian or whatever his name is, like I was like, oh, but also like makes sense, but also like
it's a French film. Like it's literally a French film. Like so basically her roommate is gay, and he tells her at the beginning, it's the first thing you see like hear him say, kind of And so she starts falling in love with him. And like there's little hints of him, little hints of it here and there. Like she catches him with this guy, and then he closes the door, but she like stays at the door to listen. So you're like, okay, what's going on? So she falls in love with him, and then like later on in the movie, he's like in the heat of the moment with himself, and she like walks in on him during that, and so like he's already like turned on, so they have sex. And so she's like it's such a scary scene because she's like trying to bite him while they're having sex. And then she like doesn't, so she ends up biting herself. And that's like when she like finishes. Okay, I'm not selling this movie very well, but it's a really good movie because of how she like compares, like you were saying, like it's about experimentation and like how this guy is supposed to.
I think anyone, like, honestly, not even just women, but I honestly think that like anyone who was like, who has gone through puberty, who has gone through freaking like anything like a sexual awakening, you know what I mean, like will 100% like get this movie, like will 100% like understand this movie, because it is all about like trying new things, seeing what you like that. I know it's like cannibalism.
I know it's like, should they put it with, but
I haven't watched this, by the way.
You need to watch it. It's
I
so
can't
good.
because the little clip you sent me, I couldn't even watch that.
Oh, when she's like scratching?
Yeah, I couldn't even watch that. I
Oh.
literally put my phone down.
That's definitely the worst part. She gets like a rash right after eating the rabbit, which like that's how she kind of finds out that her sister's also a cannibal. Yeah. No, it's a
but that's also movie. Like to symbolize that she's like more mature, like she's gone through it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like so now she's like in it. That's like
I'm getting the symbolism. I don't think I can get with the biting.
Well, it is very gory. The sister like causes
scenes will really just like make you feel a little weird, but like you'll be like, I get it.
Exactly.
You know?
Like
you're like, I get it.
Like you don't want to watch, but like you're still looking. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're still looking, but like.
Oh, and the ending. I do want to bring up actually, I don't want to bring it up because I want people to watch it. But the ending is really interesting. I'm not going to bring it up though because I really, this is a newer movie and I really, really think everyone should watch it, especially if you like horror. It's not Rob Zombie, it's not Eli Roth. Like it's not gory where you can't handle it. It's gory for a reason, like to advance the story.
That's the thing is like it's for a reason. Every little thing, even every scene, is literally for a reason. That's why I really love this movie. The French got something going on.
Yes.
You know?
Also, the color. She uses color so well throughout the entire movie.
It actually looked so like, and it was very like I don't know, like
pacing. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Yes. It's like from start to finish, you are captivated. I love this movie.
It's a great
I think out of this category, we can see that we have evolved as a society. That like we started with like filming naked women in Carrie to like this very feminist like take on exploration and like sexuality.
Naked women that were supposed to be minors.
Yes.
That's exactly minors. Yeah.
Anyway. If out of any of these sections, go watch Raw. I put it off for so long because I don't really like gory things, but I love this movie.
If you don't like gory things, Jennifer's Body.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer's Body's kind of gory, but it's like cheesy gory. It's a different kind of gory.
It's not like I was unsettled watching it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is it for Puberty, and the next one is Revenge. So this one I'm scared to talk about because this is like it's like kind of
trigger warning.
Yeah. Trigger warning. It's also about sexuality, kind of, especially the later ones. The first one's not so much because there's a subgenre of revenge that is very big in the horror.
Yeah. Community. If you don't, trigger warning on rape, if you don't want to listen to that, you can skip ahead.
Yeah. So there's a subgenre of horror that is called the rape revenge film. And essentially these are movies where a character the first half of the movie is about a character getting sexually assaulted, and then the second half is about the character or family members of the character getting revenge. And there are a lot of these movies. I personally don't like this genre. It's just not my thing. I don't like these movies. So I haven't seen either of these movies, but I did watch like a ton of videos about like the direction of it because I was like, we're going to talk about it, and it's like a really big genre. Like subgenre of horror, like there's so many movies that fall into this category.
I actually like this category, but the reason why the reason why I like this category is because I feel like it also talks about like how like or like makes like I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying like I feel like it kind of like hints at like how like the justice system is flawed, and so like you feel like you need to get like justice from within like yourself, like okay, they're not going to do anything, especially like since there's like dirty cops, like especially in I Spit on Your Grave, like, you know what I mean, like since there's like dirty cops or like whatever, like you feel like, okay, well, I'm the, like, no one else is going to do it, like I'm going to have to do it. So I feel like there's almost like a sort of like empowerment for women, like in that, like she doesn't like let like I don't know how to say it without like being like, you know what I mean, like, but it's like it's so I actually like it. I like it because
I understand what you're saying. Like that makes a lot of sense. Like how, because I think that's the reason this subgenre is so complicated, because you can definitely see what the cons of it, but you can also see the pros of it. Like this is again like getting like, it's like you were saying, it shows the flaws of the justice system and how women aren't believed, and how like it's empowering because you see the women taking revenge and like kind of taking their own self back in some of these movies. But the two that Kyla already mentioned, one of them, I Spit on Your Grave, was released in 1978, directed by Wes Craven, I believe, or I don't know if that was a remake. No, it was Wes Craven, who also directed Scream, which is my favorite movie. So that's why I'm like conflicted about this one. And then Revenge in 2017, because I wanted to compare like the differences between these two, because Revenge was directed by a woman and also written by a woman. So the videos that I was watching, and Kyla, you can tell me if like you agree or disagree with these, but they were saying that like in I Spit on Your Grave, I'm just going to read you the quote that I wrote down. The male gaze is prevalent in the rape revenge film to eroticize the survivor before, during, and after her assault, constantly subjecting her to the control of the male gaze. And even if you look at the poster for I Spit on Your Grave, it's literally like the woman's body. Like it's literally like, you know? And so the other quote that I wrote down was, these films, to film theorist Carol Clover, were seen as a way to process the modern debate between sexual violence and the law, though it presents us with contradictions. The rape revenge film, not unlike the slasher, is a film usually made by and for men. But unlike the slasher, the rape revenge film articulates feminist politics as the woman takes revenge against the men who rape her. These films do portray female power and some kind of reclamation of agency. So I picked those two quotes because I felt like one was like against it and one was like for it.
I totally see both sides of that too. Like I 100%. But I just like, I guess understand more about like, because like when you think about it, when you're like watching like a movie and there is like a like trigger warning, like rape scene, like there is like a rape scene, you know what I mean, like you want like this sort of like justice, like you want to see them like you know what I mean, like get what they deserve, like like you almost feel like going to jail is like not enough for them. And in these two movies especially, they like, it's like a gruesome like revenge, like it's like these like singular women, like only like just like one woman like completely like destroys like these men that like have like were like her assaulters, you know? So it's almost like you get like that satisfaction as like, you know what, they got what they deserved, like so I feel like that's like that.
That's I think that's what makes it such a complicated like subgenre, that like what?
I don't know. I haven't seen this movie, so I can't say anything on these movies.
I mean, like, but what do you think about like the whole, like, what is your overall opinion on this? Like, what do you?
I mean, like, I like that like there is some sort of like consequences for action, because like the justice system is flawed, especially when it comes to like rape cases, and I think that's cool, but I don't agree with taking violence to it. But also, like, what else are you supposed to do? Technically.
Again, this is like
it's a loaded topic.
Again, this is like, if you like these movies, and as this is, by the way, me talking to women, not men, because if you like, that's a whole different thing if a man likes these movies.
But that's like a whole other topic. Like, there's something wrong. Like, if you
there's something going on there if this is one of your favorite genres. But I think like for women, if you like these movies, it makes sense why you do. And if you don't like it, that's also valid. So I think these movies are made for people who want to see them. That sounds really stupid, but like that's really the only way to put it.
No, but it's literally a double-edged sword. Like they're like it's either way. It's either you're either gonna hate it, like completely hate it, or you're gonna like understand it. So it's like there's just like it's such an iffy like genre, you know what I mean? Like it's such an iffy like theme like or types of movies because it can be very touchy for like, you know, like rape survivors and like stuff like that. So it is just such a like eerie like topic.
Yeah. So I know we didn't really have like a concrete answer there, but I don't
think there is a concrete answer on it.
There is not. Like it's 100% like if it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, literally. If you want to drink it, if you don't.
Yeah.
So that's that. So Teeth was released in 2007, directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein. I think that's how you say his name. I think everyone knows about this movie in one way or another.
Yeah.
You've never heard of this movie?
No.
Like at all?
No. I have no idea what this is.
Okay, I thought like this was like a big thing in like middle school. Everyone was like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?"
This was such a big thing in middle school. Like I went to a different middle school. However, it was such a thing.
I'm just Googled Teeth, and like obviously teeth came up, like actual teeth. Basically, the movie is about a girl who has teeth in her vagina. Really?
No.
And the thing is like there's like a guy that like kind of like takes advantage of her, and her vagina cuts the ding-a-ling off. You know?
Yeah. I guess you could kind of consider this a rape revenge movie, but I think this one like there's a supernatural element to it, so like I kind of wanted to talk about that aspect of it. The same thing with this rape revenge movie. Some people say it's a feminist movie. Some people say it's not.
Well, it's written and directed by this old white man.
Yeah, it's written and directed by a man. Like I Spit on Your Grave.
Like I just like wonder like
what they were thinking.
Like do you, like I wonder if it's like a fetish.
See how
fetishize? Yeah.
A white man, 100%. Sorry, but like 100%. I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
So you have a note for this one that I think is really interesting, Kylie, if you want to explain that a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So I was literally just saying that, like, I can also see how this, not necessarily is a feminist movie, but I don't necessarily think that she's being punished for having sex. I think that it's literally just about, like, enjoying sex versus not, you know what I mean? Like finding it like very like having like trauma like associated with it versus like enjoying it. Okay, for example, there's like a scene where like the guy that like she actually like likes, they're like having sex, and for some reason his ding-a-ling is not getting cut off, but it's because her body is like saying that she's enjoying, like she likes it. So, like the teeth have like gone down, you know what I mean? So it's like so
that's a really good point.
Yeah, and so that's why like for me, like it's like you have your guard up like physically, sexually, like everything, like when you don't want it, you know what I mean? So like from a woman's perspective, I see it like in that sense.
Yeah,
from a man's perspective, I see it as like he was just being like, you know what, women have like teeth for a vagina, like, you know what I mean? Like
I wish that this was a thing. Like if it goes down when you actually like the person.
That's what I'm saying is that it's almost like a weapon. It's like her weapon. Like it's her way of like being like, no, you do not get to enter. You know what I mean? Like it's her way of being like, that's not. I know that's like so like dumb, but at the same time, like,
that's what it is.
It's like it's such a like. I think that's like a great idea in general. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh my gosh. Was like a real thing, because then like
no, literally I wish I had that. That'd be so great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that like it went down when she liked the guy. Do you know what I mean? Because like she accepted it, like it was like it's almost like consent, even though, you know, like like,
no, it is though.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting to see this movie remade by a woman.
You can tell that this was directed by a man though. Like, is there like weird?
Yeah, obviously there's weird.
100%. That's why I know it's directed by a man 100%, because like they make like the guys you for some reason they make the guys like seem like these really nice guys, you know what I mean?
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. So I'm just
so like, why is their ding-a-ling gone? If they're nice guys, why is their ding-a-ling gone?
So that's how I know for a fact that a man like directed this.
Yeah.
However, the idea behind it, I'm like for it.
The way you explained it, I would love to see a woman do
Absolutely.
that.
That's what I'm saying, is that like that's why I don't see it as like she's being punished for having sex. I see it as like she's using like her.
Yeah,
that's like,
especially if she's allowed to enjoy it, and like the guy that she likes,
she
like
enjoy it when she
yeah.
chooses, you know what I mean?
Period.
She just didn't know it for a while, because every time she had like sex with someone, like it was like someone who was like forcing themselves upon her. So then she so it would cut off their thing. So when she liked a guy, she was really afraid that it was going to cut off his thing. So she's like, no, we can't. So he was like, don't worry, we don't have to. So he like he didn't do anything. And then finally, like when they did, she was like, oh my gosh, it's gone. Like it's just fine. And so it's like, because she accepted it. So that's why that's
retracts.
Like a sort like that feminist aspect of it is like consent, or else you get your ding-a-ling cut off.
Period. Period.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a definitely, like, I think horror has it definitely how it like shows, like, all of these are like very like deep rooted fears, I think.
Yes.
And they just have different, like, the fear of exploring your sexuality in Raw is shown through cannibalism. The fear of being assaulted in what is the movie called, Teeth, is shown through teeth in your vagina. So like I think horror can do these kinds of things because of what the genre is.
Yeah.
And it still gets the point across. Maybe I don't know how much in this one, but like Kyla said, like, you know, it was her weapon. It wasn't like a punishment.
Love that. Okay, superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it is a punishment, but then like when she realizes that it's not, she like is so happy and she feels empowered, and I love that like part that she like has.
I'm gonna have to watch it because I thought it was like not.
Well, that's the thing. You have to watch it in its entirety. If you watch only like the first half, you're gonna be like, this is a full on just got, you know what I mean? Like, white guy directed this, whatever. And then like you start getting into it, and then like you understand like
what the whole thing was about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some points. There's a lot that I'm like, it needs work, but that's why a woman should direct it, because then they can keep that like aspect of it, like like, you know what I mean? But they can like change it into like their view. Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah. I think like kind of like a movie that kind of does something similar, not like a horror, but like A Promising Young Woman just came out. Yeah. And I feel like that's a good, like, isn't that female driven?
It is.
Okay. So then I feel like, so I feel like it's a revenge plot, but it's not a horror.
Yeah,
which
absolutely. I was going to talk about it, but I was like, it's not horror, so we'll just save that for another day. But sticking with the theme of sexuality and sex and rape culture, It Follows was released in 2014, directed by David Robert Mitchell. So basically this, honestly, like very, very like basic tagline for this is it's about like an STD that like haunts you. So like essentially like people have to have sex to transfer this like demon, and then like if you have this STD, sexually transmitted demon, like is what they say, like if you have it, like you can't let it touch you. It like manifests as like this person in the distance. It's like slowly just walking towards you, so you can't stay still anywhere. Very scary. It's a really scary movie. And so the thing that people were like, the reason that this movie is so popular is because it doesn't punish its female characters for having sex, which a lot of horror movies do. Friday the 13th, literally the whole premise is they get murdered because they're having sex. Like all teenagers though, it's not just women, but it's also part of that. So, and then again, the way that it's filmed, it's like how some scenes are filmed like if you're like not supposed to be watching, it's like from afar or like so like the way that someone put it to like into words was it forces the audience to look through the male gaze and why it's a bad thing.
Right.
And so
David Robert Mitchell.
Yeah. So this, and also like I'm just I don't know if I want to spoil the ending. No, because it's newer. I won't spoil the ending, but I do think that the way that it ends is also like in the movie you're like but like when you think about it you're like wait, it makes sense what it's saying about sexuality and people living with STDs, like especially like people with like AIDS and that kind of thing. Wait, I don't know if I'm remembering the ending right. Never mind. Because what if it's like a bad thing?
Watch that one. However, I did watch the like trailer and wait, how are they not getting like punished for having sex? I don't get
because
when they
all
have
the
sex,
no
they're
yeah.
about
Well, okay, so here's what what someone was saying was like all the sex in this film is consensual. None of it is like creepy, weird men. Well, men are so weird and creepy, but like it's not like how in these other ones like they're getting revenge for something.
right?
It's like this demon is like always there and like constantly like watching them. But the demon, and it's kind of like the Babadook where like the demon isn't actually a demon. It kind of represents like how, because once they find like her family finds out about like what like that she had sex, they're like mad at her for it. So it's kind of like the demon kind of represents like how women aren't allowed in this culture to like embrace their sexuality. Like WAP, like people were mad at them for that.
Well, now, like how you're explaining it, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So it's like this thing that's like always, it's like always there in the background, like catching
There
up.
is guilt too. I feel like a lot of people raised in like religion as well. Like there's a lot of guilt associated with like having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be good.
And it does follow, like I've talked to my friends about it. It follows, especially my friend says like Catholic guilt. She's like every time like I have like sex, like or like I want to like have sex, like it's kind of like in the back of my head, like it's kind of wrong.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. That's basically what this movie's about.
Either.
And it's also really scary. So I definitely recommend watching this movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, so I might have not explained some things very well, but I definitely think it's worth a watch. And then finally, this one doesn't really have anything to do with sex at all, but it's like...
Well, kind of. Well...
Okay, yeah, I guess you...
Yeah, because they were married.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, it's still like about revenge, though.
Yeah.
And it's The Invisible Man, the remake, released in 2020, starring Elizabeth Moss.
I just watched it yesterday. I really liked it.
I loved this movie so much.
I really liked it.
I was like scared that like you guys were gonna like I love this movie.
I
really good.
was
love Elizabeth Moss. Like I thought she did so good.
So The Invisible Man is about this woman who she has an abusive. Were they married?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has an abusive husband, and she finally like gets the courage to leave him, and then he commits suicide. And so,
quote unquote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or does he?
I don't know if you say spoiler because it did come out recently, but at the same time, yeah.
Well, no. That's like the main point of the movie. You know that it's
he's gone. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
That part.
I think we could say that.
During it, I really didn't know that he like. I thought I was like, man, is she going crazy? Like you really think? Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you go on that journey. Like it's like.
That's
true. The feet in the blanket part, I was like,
there's something there.
Yeah.
That's true because throughout the movie, they're like, is she actually seeing something? I mean, then she gets dragged across the the table and like thrown across.
You know what I thought? I thought it was. I didn't know it was him. I thought it was someone like kind of like just. It was like remember how they thought it was like his brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Like for a while.
I literally believed them. I was like, oh, it's the brother.
For a second, I was like, "Wow, he's even abusing her even through death." You know what I mean? Like I thought that was like abusive. Like I thought that was like a whole message and like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, so that's what I thought. And then
I also thought it was gonna be a ghost. I was convinced it was gonna be a ghost.
I knew it was gonna be sciencey. I knew it had something.
Well, because the original one is sciencey too. Like, but for some reason, I was like, maybe they might make it like a ghost because it was James Wan, I think. So.
Well, I guess his character is like he's a tech guy.
Yeah. But I didn't know that from the trailer.
Well, and then when she's leaving, she sees the machine that.
Yeah, that's how I knew. I knew it was going to be a suit right when I saw like this whole machine. I knew it was going to be
You're being dumb. Anyway, I think we just spoiled the whole movie, but obviously, like we always spoil everything. So
I think if you go in to watch like any podcast talking about movies, it's going to get spoiled for you.
Yeah. The reason
you just still watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason people really liked this movie, I think, and why it's considered like a feminist horror film is because it's about a woman who is getting abused and how they don't believe this character for a lot of the movie. And the way that it plays out and like what the character does to her, like the scene in the diner is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like where she's talking to the sister and she's like finally gonna tell her.
And then
And
she,
the knife
yes,
is-
yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And then it flings into her hand. I was like, that. I don't think I've ever gasped out loud in the movie theater.
I don't think that was like scary to me, like not like scary, but I think it was like I was absolutely shocked. I was like,
Not
yeah.
like, yeah. Not like scary, like as a jump scare.
Side, they're gonna be like sisters in it to win it, and then all of a sudden, freaking, he's gone.
No, yeah. I don't know. I was definitely not expecting that. We just pulled another part of it again. Well, like again, like how I was saying earlier, like every horror is basically about like a very deep-rooted fear. Basically, like every horror movie, like starts with one basic fear that like a lot of people have. And with the Invisible Man and like Unsane, it's like the fear of not being believed, and like
which is
real because people don't believe women.
And not only that, but like, why do they assume? Like, why do like men or like just anyone in general like assume that like if women are lying, then they're mentally insane, or like, you know what I mean? Not that they're lying, but I'm just saying that like if they think that like women are lying, like, oh, you're mentally insane, you go to a mental institution, you need some help. You know what I mean? Like, I never really see it with like men in like movies, like they like are like right away put into a mental institution.
Well, men that are like lying, they're usually like a Ocean's 11 type of thing. Like they're
like they're like, it's like a cool thing that they're lying.
Cool,
you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a, and then but then when like women are lying, it's like they're mentally insane. There's something wrong with lying, that she's not doing what I want, or she like, because she didn't sign like this like paper, like, oh, she's crazy, she's gonna stay in the mental institution. Like, how psychotic is that? That she like her life was in the, like her status in like this world was like in the palm of like these men's like hands, literally. You know what I mean? Like that's like that was like the most disturbing part of it. I like almost like to me was the fact that like it was so controlled, like she was so controlled in like everything that she did, you know.
I think it's also an interesting commentary on people that have money and like power, that they're allowed to get rid of this, like get away with that even more so, because people are like, well, how could he? He's so successful. How could he ever put somebody through that?
But if the roles were reversed, do you think a woman would like put that ultimatum on like on a man? Like, do you think that like the woman would have been like, if you don't sign this, like I'm gonna keep you in the mental institution? Or even like a woman to a woman, do you think that would happen?
I honestly don't even think a woman would have made a suit like this, just because it's like common sense that it's not going to be used for good.
But that's what I'm saying, is that like women, like their vendettas are not as deep as like movies like make it out to like seem. Do you know what I mean? Like they make like women seem like these evil, like, you know, like people that like have like an ulterior motive, when really we're like there's
it's just like we want basic human rights.
Like
I want to be treated like an equal.
It's just basic human rights. We don't freaking steal like why is it always like they want to steal money, they want to like, women want to like do this, they want to do that, like why can't they just be like, I just want equality, yo, like I don't get it.
And literally.
Anyway,
can I be taken seriously? Thanks.
Anyway,
cool.
So that's The Invisible Man.
On HBO Max, we stand
HBO Max.
Sponsor us.
Us bringing it up every single episode.
Well, because I want to manifest it. That ass.
Okay, fine. Wait, is this? Have you? Why you're wearing this yet?
Suspiria.
Okay. So the last like little theme that we have is power. And in this section we have Suspiria, the original one, and the remake. The Witch, Ready or Not, and your next kind of go hand in hand, and then Hereditary and Midsommar kind of go hand in hand. So the first one is Suspiria. The original one was released in 1977, directed by Dario Argento. I don't know. He's Italian. I don't know if that's right, how I'm saying his name. And then the remake was directed by Luca Guadagnino.
Guadagnini.
Wait, what?
Luca Guadagnino. I don't think you spell his last name right.
Guadagnino?
It's not Guadagnino. It's Guadagnino.
Did I leave out a letter?
Yeah, I think so. Why am I... Call me by your name. I can look that up.
Yeah. Also, the way that he makes very different movies. Like, Call Me By Your Name and Suspiria are two very different things.
Very different.
I ripped out like 4 letters.
Yeah.
Luca
Guadagnino. So
Guadagnino. Yes.
Girl, I don't know.
It's so embarrassing that I don't know how to say a single name.
It's okay. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because I have to listen to it first. I have to hear somebody say
Oh,
it
absolutely.
to like understand.
Like
I don't understand phonetics
when
at
I
all.
thought it was Florence Booth.
The way I took Italian for like 2 semesters in college, and I literally almost failed because I didn't understand that language. I'm so sorry to the Italians. Anyway, so I only watched the original Suspiria. Oh boy, could I not pay attention to that movie?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I only watched the remake, but I did see like a trailer for the old Suspiria, and it does look great. Honestly, if we could have done that lighting and Haunted, it maybe could have been a little bit better.
The lighting in Suspiria is what
Gorgeous.
Everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
Literally beautiful, like so good. Like the way he uses colors, like
The cinematography is absolutely bonkers.
Yes. However,
it goes crazy.
The narrative is just not there.
Yeah.
I truly don't think anything is going on in the movie.
I was like, I kept on blinking. I was like, what is going on?
Nothing is going on though.
Yeah.
But like something is.
The reason why I picked this is because the red that they use for the blood is so vibrant, so that's why I chose this.
Okay.
Whatever red corn syrup, because it's all thick and shit. Like
it's glowing.
Yeah. It's like saturated AF, the blood in the movie.
It was more for like aesthetic purposes than it was even to look like real blood, huh?
Yeah.
That's I think the reason why it's so popular is because of like how it was like filmed, like the cinematography, the score is also really good. The acting is good, but there's just like nothing going on.
It was more art.
That's the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
The original Suspiria is art more than like following a narrative.
Yeah, I would say if you watch the original Suspiria, just pay attention to what's going on the screen. Let's like just don't even pay attention to the narrative.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to, honestly.
Or go on Pinterest.
Go on Pinterest too.
Well, what did you think about like the remake?
Okay, so
I didn't watch the remake.
I did suffer through the remake. So it took me 3 different sittings to watch it because it's like 3 hours and it's really long, but also it's really slow and it is the exact. Well, for one, okay, let me just say I think it's really, really interesting how he like took what remake is to a different level because this movie is completely like stripped of color. It's all pale, like it's all browns, grays, earth tones.
When you think of Suspiria, you do not think of this remake. Like
yes.
The way it looks like it is like bland. Like I feel like it's a saltine cracker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so just
literally. That was such a good way to describe this movie.
Yeah.
It is literally a saltine cracker. Where the first one was like a
it was like one of those like Korean cakes like that are like really decorated, like really nice and stuff.
I was thinking of like a Hostess. No, like those. No, that's not the right word.
Lava cake, like a lava cake. Like it has so much.
But I was trying to think of like a colorful, like food, but it's like fake.
Well, like a
like
fruit
it's like food
basket.
coloring. I don't even know what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking.
This metaphor is going too far. Anyway, the first Suspiria, whereas this one does have a lot of story.
It's one of those jelly cakes. So the original Suspiria.
Oh,
yeah. Jelly cake with a saltine cracker. There we go.
Yeah. And like if you put those two in front, like which one are you gonna want? But then also like this is the original Suspiria, there's not much story there. But then the new one, there is like they added so much story.
Imagine if they had.
However, it is kind of hard to follow in certain things. You know what I mean? So it's like, honestly, if I were to choose between the two, I still haven't seen like fully the old one. But however, I can appreciate it almost like with like watching like the trailer, like looking it up, like all this stuff. Like I was like, I feel like honestly I would have liked this one more and I would like choose this one over the remake just because of the fact that like it was a little hard to follow the remake even though there was a lot of story. It was very long and it did not look amazing. You know what I mean? So it's just so I would have chosen something that is visually like perfect versus like something that doesn't really hit the
reason why I didn't feel the need to watch the remake was because it felt like one of those movies that you're just gonna feel dumb after watching it because you don't get it.
Yeah, and I like those movies. I don't like. I mean, I like movies that make me like think. However, I don't like movies that literally like make my head go like what? Like that.
Like you go back home and you question existence and
But like it's not even like you question existence because like you watch it and you don't really want to think more about it.
That's
Like,
that's the thing, is you're literally like over it. Like you literally are like watching.
yeah.
I feel no need to continue watching.
You like don't even want to think about it anymore. You're like, well, I suffered through 3 hours of that. Whatever, I watched it. It's not like how like when we watch Mulholland Drive, we like still we're thinking about it. We're still like trying to figure out what was happening with this one.
Because Mulholland Drive is interesting, and you like want to like figure it out, and you want to like do that. Suspiria, like it doesn't even like look nice, so it's like, why do I even like?
Yeah,
like
no
you know what I mean? It's like.
However, because I know we just completely dragged it, the acting is amazing. Dakota Johnson is amazing. Tilda Swinton is amazing.
I'm obsessed with Tilda Swinton, and I'm obsessed with Dakota Johnson. So
yeah. If you like that, honestly, that's enough to watch it. Like I feel like if you like Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton and you want to watch what they do great in this movie.
I like both of them, but I'm not gonna watch this movie. I'm so sorry.
Like everything is so stripped of everything that it's so like I feel bored. It's like a gloomy day, but with no hot.
And also, like the reason this film got so hyped was they were like, oh, there's this one scene where people walked out. I think it was like a Sundance or a film festival.
Oh, yeah.
People were like, there's this scene that was so nasty, people walked out. And then you wait an hour and a half to watch it. The scene happens. It's not even that bad. And then you wait like a good 2 hours before anything else actually happens.
Oh, that's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
That is so fucking annoying.
And the ending, I don't know if it's like worth it. Like, yes, it's like huge and explosive and like bloody.
Why
and,
is
like,
it feminist though?
The reason people were considering these two movies feminist were because, again, like the theme of witches and like that whole genre is like how if you look at witches in film originally, it's like the Wicked Witch of the West. It's like
it doesn't take it seriously.
And again, like it was used to punish women. Like like the Salem witch trials were literally like they weren't actually witches. They were like women who like people wanted to get rid of or who were like not understood, and so people didn't want to understand what women were going through, like mental health or anything. So they were just like, well, they're witches and let's kill them. So
yeah, but the witches like in this like
they're
still giving them like I feel like they're still giving them like evilness, like you know what I mean, like they're still making them evil. Like why can't they witches, like they don't need to be like great amazing good witches, like you know what I mean, but they just need to be like, why do they have to be like inherently evil and like freaking make people go in cocoons or like whatever they were like in like that
so the thing that people
why do like women have to be either like evil witches, you know what I mean, like I just don't get it.
Because, like, I don't know. I think it's because a lot of these stories were written by men, and men are scared of women with power, so they just assume that if a woman had power, she's going to kill people.
Yeah.
Because that's what they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oop. Anyways. The Witch! I'm really over talking about Suspiria.
Because honestly, there's not much to say. No. Truly, there is not much to say. I think
we just, like, talked in circles that entire time.
The Witch came out in 2016. Oh, well, we're sticking on the topic. It's about witches. Directed by Robert Eggers, who also don't think I said that right either. He also directed The Lighthouse. The reason we included this one was because
he's such an interesting director.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about him.
He has his concepts.
He sure does think things.
He makes movies.
He definitely does the things.
I love The Witch. I will say that.
I love The Lighthouse too.
Lighthouse made me feel a little, I don't know.
Oh, I don't like The Lighthouse, but Robert Pattinson.
No, that's why I'm like, I like the Witch or the V Witch, like the Witch.
The VV, the Vivitch. This movie, I think it was refreshing because it was like a different take on like, it wasn't like teen American Horror Story Coven Witches. It was like the Salem witch trials era, and like the language was very much true to the time. So like you kind of like are like struggling to understand, but you still understand what's going on. You don't really need to understand what the characters are saying to understand the relationships.
For some reason, even though it's not this time period, it felt like it felt historical.
Like like you feel like you're watching a historical movie.
Yes, like this could have,
And the reason like a lot of people were like considered it, I guess, a feminist movie is because it's about like a teen girl going against the traditions of what her family thinks is right, what her family's morals, her family's like beliefs, and she just kind of goes against all that. I don't know if you would say that she wins in the end. I guess you could, because like
it's kind of like Midsummer. You're like
sort of like freedom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Freedom from like like when she was at like her house and like and her family was alive and like whatever, they were not very nice to her. You know what I mean?
No, they were not.
But they were like they were just like cast out from society. Her life was like not great. However, she was still like a good like woman. She was still a good girl. You know what I mean? But then all of the men like around her, like her brother and her dad, both were very much sinful people. However, why weren't they considered witches? Why weren't they like you know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't like she was necessarily doing anything like super like she was actually a good person. Like, and I feel like this goes back to like the Salem witch trials. Like, women, like if they didn't like obey or like they did something, like they found a way to blame women for like everything, like you know, like for the baby like disappearing, like it's her fault, you know what I mean? Like it's not anyone else's fault, it's her fault. Or even like so I think this movie says a lot about like the double standards of like just how women and men are like viewed, I guess, even like from back then, but I feel like it can also like be true to like certain things like now.
Yeah, that's true. At the end, she has new BFFs, and she's smiling, like she's happy.
Yeah, well, she had a choice to either like live in the freaking like wilderness and do like nothing and starve, or she could freaking live that when the like goat was like
deliciously.
I just did not like the way he said it, but yeah, so she could either do that or she could like starve and die. Like,
yeah, that's true. She didn't really have much of a choice there. But it looks like she's having a good time. And also Anya Taylor-Johnson, we love you.
Yeah.
Again, great actress.
She's great.
But yeah, there's not much to say about that.
To like choose being a witch, but
that's true. The next two I included them together because they're kind of honestly the same thing. But it's sort of like this girl versus monster trope, like this like a one woman against a whole group. And these movies are Ready or Not, which was released in 2019, and Your Next, which was released in 2011. I love both these movies. I think I fell asleep watching Your Next, so I don't remember much about it, but I was just really tired. However, Ready or Not is amazing.
I love that movie.
The reason I think these movies are so good when they like okay, because obviously like women beating the monster is like a big trope in horror, right? However, the reason these movies do it differently, they're both very much like newer, is because like for one, the woman isn't sexualized while doing it. In Ready or Not, she is wearing a full wedding gown.
She's wearing a full wedding gown the entire time.
You barely even see her shin, like, and she fights the entire movie. Whereas in other old horror movies, they're like very like their shirt is ripped right conveniently where her boobs are showing, and like her shorts are very high up, or she's in just underwear, and that's what she's fighting. She's all like dirt all over, and like she's being sexualized while she's literally trying to survive. Whereas in these, it's like about the survival and like taking back the power. I
also like the fact that she wasn't seen like in the beginning. She wasn't like like she never seemed fragile like to me. You know what I mean? Like she always seemed like she could unlock. She's just unlocking like her power. Like she's not really like.
She reacted how I feel like normal person would be reacting in that situation.
Exactly. Sometimes it didn't need to be like on the opposite ends of the spectrum where she's like this fragile like person who like has to like become like something else that that she wasn't before, but just like more just like unlocking what she does have, like saying that like women, we all like have like this like sort of like
the ability to survive and like fight back.
To survive. Honestly, anyone does, but like seriously,
yes, I love both these movies. I think they're great. I think Ready or Not is a lot better. But yeah, there's not much to say about those. And then the last two are Hereditary and Midsommar, both directed by Ari Aster. Hereditary was, I believe, 2017 Hereditary, and then Midsommar was 2019.
I think so.
I think. I just really briefly wanted to mention these because I feel like we've talked about them so many times, but
any chance we get, we're like, put it on the list.
No, literally. But again, these both are female-led movies. Hereditary stars Toni Collette, and Midsommar stars Florence Pugh, which I learned how to say. And yeah, they're female horror movies, and I think Hereditary definitely fits a lot more in the whole motherhood thing.
Yeah. I feel like there's not much to say about these because there's nothing really to critique about them. I think they did a really good job of like representing women in horror.
Even though it makes you think, like in certain aspects, like I wanted to figure it
Yeah.
out. I honestly applaud both of them. They both hit the mark on like what they were trying to say and like certain things. And I saw your note about like the culty like aspects of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like for real, like it's I like that it's not like romanticizing like cult like types. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I know that's like weird. Like, okay, when you think about it, like Lana Del Rey, like I love Lana, but like
where is this going?
What I'm saying, like what I'm just saying that like she almost like romanticizes like freaking like Charles Manson and like the
okay.
You know what I'm saying is that like it's almost, like it's almost like romanticizing like certain things, you know what I mean? And I'm like it's like so bad. So I like the fact that it's like, oh my, like it's going back to its roots of being like terrible to be a part of a cult, you know what I mean?
No, yeah. Okay, so the note that Kyla's talking about is that I wrote completely missed the white supremacy and cult manipulation aspect. Oops. So like the other times that we've talked about Midsommar, we were like, oh, she's like happy at the end and blah blah blah. Whereas like Ari Aster did an interview where he was like, the cult is very much a white supremacy cult, which you could tell when like there's that one character that's a product of incest, and like they're trying to keep it white, and like the reason they picked Dani is because she's in a fragile state, and like she just lost everything, so they know that they'll be able to like take her, which cults do. They pick on fragile people, like broken people who they know that they'll be able to manipulate, which is disgusting and gross. I completely missed that the first time I watched it, and I watched it again, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I mean, I think she's still kind of happy in a way because she conquered those things, but I just think she's in such a state of like, what the fuck just happened too?
She doesn't know what's going on.
She doesn't really know what's going on.
It happens very quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're in that state of like shock, like you just kind of went numb. Like I feel like she just went like numb. Like she was just like,
she's like, can't get worse than this.
Yeah, literally. Like, no. I honestly feel like she was like, it can't get worse than this.
No. Yeah. Good point.
Oh well.
Anyway, so that was
at least she's May Queen.
She is May Queen. So yeah. That was women in horror. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
I think we did a great job. I don't know. I think in summary, the thing that we noticed in all of these themes was like, from when these movies were originally being made by men to how they're being made now by women, it's like, if a female story is about the female experience, it needs to be told by a woman, or it's not going to hit all the right marks.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly like the most basic like thing that we got from all of these, like Carrie, The Craft, like Teeth, like I Spit on Your Grave. Like these movies need to be about female experiences, need to be told by women, because we get things like Raw, we get things like I don't remember any of the other ones, but like female horror is very important, especially because we've seen that like that's a huge demographic of horror movies. So why are we not making it for them? Like Jennifer's Body should have been marketed to,
especially because all scarier things happen to women, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Close the laptop. Kyla, do you want to plug all your social media and like tell everyone where they can find you and your work?
Oh yeah. How do I? What do I do? Just say it.
Say it. Yeah.
I mean, just Instagram, Kyla_Warren. That's literally all I have. I'm gonna be starting to make like a whatchamacallit, like a snippet portfolio that I'm gonna start like putting online. So watch out for that. I will probably make like a website thing actually. So
okay, cool, yeah. And we'll put that on our Instagram too. All this information you can find on our Instagram at our Hollywood. We always put our guest spotlights on there. So if you ever like want to find any more information about one of our guests, you can totally do it on there. Hire one of our guests. Go do that. Hire whoever we have it on here.
Hire us.
Hire us. And thank you.
You can look me up on IMDb.
Yeah. Kyla was in Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How fun.
She gets eaten.
So look it up, guys. I can get those residual checks. So
residual checks.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kyla, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week. I don't even know what we're doing next week. Do you?
No.
Okay, fine.